stood there, pouring gasoline into their pool, a strange calm in his eyes. No one knew why, until something began to rise from the water. What they found would change everything. If you're not ready for the truth, turn back now. Riverhood, Georgia, where everything is white. The fences, the houses, the smiles. The kind of neighborhood where the American dream still wears pearls and a tennis bracelet. And if you're not one of them, you don't belong. The Marshalls lived at the top of the hill, a sprawling estate with columns like a courthouse and a flag that never touched the ground. Everyone looked up to them. Old money, old name. The father, Richard Marshall, ran the homeowners board, made speeches on values, shook hands at the church, but behind closed doors. He was the kind of man who made sure their kind didn't move in next door. He never used slurs, not in public. He didn't need to. His smile did the work for him. The kind of man who never left fingerprints, but always left bruises. And then there was Marcus. Marcus lived just outside Riverhood, on the other side of the tracks, literally. People only called him when they needed things fixed. He kept to himself. But he remembered everything, especially the night 5 years ago when his niece, Kenna, vanished. She was just 14, smart, too mouthy for her own good, loved roller skates and late-night cereal. Gone, just like that, last seen near Riverhood. Police said she probably ran away, case cold in less than a month. Marcus never believed it, but he had no power, no badge, and in Riverhood, no voice, until that one afternoon. He was repairing a fence at the edge of the Marshall's property, sweat on his brow, back aching. That's when he saw her, Hannah Marshall, pretty little blonde thing, legs up on the dash of her daddy's white Range Rover. A black kid was riding his bike past the car, no older than 10. She rolled down the window, laughed, and poured an entire milkshake on the boy. "Oops," she giggled. Her friends shrieked in delight. The kid pedaled off, humiliated. And Richard Marshall? He just stood on the porch, didn't say a damn word. Marcus clenched the hammer so tight, the wood cracked. That night, he stared at the ceiling, remembered the stories, the whispers about the pool, built just after Kenna disappeared. Always pristine, always off limits. What if? It wasn't rage, it was a quiet kind of fury, the kind that builds like a storm. 3 days later, at dawn, Marcus returned. 2 red gas cans in hand, his face unreadable, eyes locked forward. The Marshall's backyard was still, sprinklers ticking, birds chirping, the perfect morning, until he uncapped the jugs. Neighbors screamed, windows flew open. Hey, Marcus, call the police. He's lost it." Richard Marshall stormed outside in his robe, his gut hanging over designer pajamas. "Get off my property, you son of a—" Marcus didn't blink, didn't speak. He kept pouring, every step around the pool traced with fuel. Richard charged, tried to shove him. But Marcus, he pushed back with one arm, and the old man hit the grass hard. People gasped. Hannah screamed. The mother ran out, trying to call 911 and shout at him at the same time. Neighbors gathered, phones out, everyone filming. He's gone mad. He's gonna burn the place down. Damn savage. Then, he struck the match. Whoosh! Fire erupted over the pool like hell itself opened its mouth. Gasps, screams, someone fainted, smoke danced into the sky. And then, silence. It started as a shimmer, something bobbing to the surface. A black plastic bag. Melted at the corners, it broke open in the water. A bracelet slipped out. Delicate, burned, but the letters were still there. K-E-N-N-A. Mouths dropped open. Someone dropped their phone. Then bones. Small. Too small. The mother gasped. Hannah screamed, backing away. The smell hit, even stronger than the gasoline. A dog barked wildly in the distance. Then sirens. The police rolled in fast. Guns drawn. They surrounded Marcus. "On the ground! Hands behind your head!" He dropped to his knees. Calm. Empty. Like everything he needed to say had already floated up. But then the officers paused. They saw what was in the water, heard the whispers, saw the bracelet. The chief stepped forward, took one look at Richard Marshall, his face now as pale as a ghost, sweat pouring, lips trembling. Neighbors started stepping back, phones still filming. expressions slowly shifting from rage to horror to disbelief. They weren't looking at Marcus anymore. They were looking at the marshals. One cop radioed in, "We got a body and we got a match." Another walked over to Richard and said, "We need to talk, now." Marcus, still on the ground, looked up, not smiling, not crying, just breathing. The marshals were escorted away. Not in black cars, but in cuffs. For years they owned the narrative. Smiles, speeches, silence. But the truth, it doesn't stay buried, not even in Riverhood, because sometimes justice doesn't knock. It burns. If you think that justice was served, like, comment, and subscribe for more stories. See you tomorrow for another thriller that will stay with you.